I have a irrational fear. Ever since I heard these kind of stories, I've had an irrational fear of accidentally reversing onto a child.
Okay.
You've heard those stories.
Yeah, I've heard those stories.
And like every time I reverse, I make sure if
That there's nothing.
If a child seems like they're gonna run across, I'll rather just stop fully, because sometimes children can do funny things and get
Yes.
distracted.
Yes.
And then boom, the thing is done. Now, as much as it's like it is my fault, because I'm responsible for the car, I must be observant and all that stuff. But what I told myself is that, like, if I'm going to jail, which I'm fine with going to jail for that,
Yeah.
that child's parent is going to jail with me.
For what?
My man, it's your job. And like in South Africa, we don't know it. You are not allowed, by law, you are not allowed at any point for there to be no eyes on your child.
Okay.
Now it's impossible.
Let's take that exact same scenario.
Okay.
Right? Let's say I'm the one reversing back. You are the parent to the child, right? I do my checks. There are no children around here. Okay, I go into my car. You are with the child. Maybe holding the child's hand. Right? Holding the child's hand, and then you open your car to try put the child inside. Child slips their hand out and runs. What's your reaction?
Number one, I thought you were gonna make an example like, what if I'm the parent? What
No,
would I
you
want to
are the
happen?
parent. You
Oh,
are
I'm
the
the parent?
parent, yeah.
It's my fault.
What's your reaction?
It is my fault.
What's your reaction when the child runs?
To run after the child and try to stop the child?
Okay. You run after the child, you
Yeah.
try stop the child. I'm already reversing. You're too late. How is it your fault?
It's my fault because my child's supposed to be strapped in at the back.
Okay, let's paint. You're not listening to me. Let's paint the scenario one more time. Your child is supposed. You said your child is supposed to be strapped in the back. Let's paint the scenario one more time. I'm the driver that is about to knock your child.
Okay.
Right? We're both in a parking lot. I go in my car. Before I go in, I inspect.
There's nothing, yeah.
There's nothing. There's no dog. There's no child. There's no hump. There's no broken glass. There's nothing. I
Fine.
go in my car.
You did all your checks.
Right? You come to your car holding your child. You've got your child in your hand. You are walking.
And obviously I'm aware of other cars.
Yes, you're aware of everything. Sharp. You open the door to put your child in.
Cool.
Your child forces their hand out of your hand and runs. I'm reversing. I knock your child.
Cool.
You said your reaction is, I'm going to run for my child. Whilst running, you're too late. I've knocked your child. How is it your fault?
Cool. Very, very specific example.
Yeah,
And
I just added more detail because I could
Cool.
hear that you didn't understand me in the first
I
place.
hear you. I thought I'd put the child in, and then when I went to go sit in the front seat, that child escaped.
No.
If any detail of that story, which is highly unlikely, let me not say highly unlikely.
It's very likely.
It's very
It's
likely.
extremely
but if
likely.
any one detail of that story isn't there, then it's not the same example. There are freak accidents. There are times when there's nothing you could have done.
Mm-hmm.
And if we make the argument of stuff you could have done, reasonably, if we can make an argument of stuff that you could have done to prevent the thing, then you can't blame the parent. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So this is it's not a black and white. There are definitely gray areas.
Okay.
But if I wasn't watching my child, and the reason why I'm an adult now, by the time I'm 18, and 18 is a stretch in this example, but by the time I'm 18 and have a child, I should know the possible dangers. Hopefully by that time I have enough common sense, and I promise you I'm not judging or looking down on kids. I'm making this example because the dangers to a child is different from when they are 6 years old to when they are 17 and a half.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying? And that's
When
why
you're
my
done,
argument-
I'm going to talk about why I started with control. Continue.
So the dangers are different, but it's for you as a parent who's the more experienced person who's in charge of that child
Okay.
to take care of them and take every precaution. And sometimes it's like in the wood, bruh, we let our kids play in the street. We go in the house because they're making the house dirty. They're stressful. Let them release their energy. That's what we do in the hood.
It's not
Then
it's
every
not
now and then a car comes along and hits a child.
it's not we want them to be outside because they're dirtying the house. No, like I said, control.
That happened in our house.
Maybe in your house, but not my house. But like I said, control. When a child is born, you control
100%.
everything. When they eat, how they eat, what they eat, when they poop. Trust me, you control when they poop, when they pee, when they do all of that stuff. You even control when to change after they've done pooping.
Maybe
right?
the pissing and shitting part, not 100%, but yeah.
Well,
yeah. I hear what you're saying. You can time the
it's-
things. You can.
It's at a majority level. So if you tell the child you are going to breastfeed every 3 hours, they're going to poop.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
If you tell the child you're going to breastfeed every 6 hours, they're going to poop,
I hear you.
right? So that's what I mean by you even control that.
100%.
When they start walking, you're no longer controlling where they go, right? Because when they're born,
Not as much.
not as much, but they do their own thing.
Yeah.
When they're born, everywhere you decide they're going to be because they can't move. When they start crawling and walking, you can't control a child trying to go to the steps.
Cool.
You can stop them as you see them go, but you can't control that they want to go there.
Example. I have a cousin. He's old now. But when he was a kid, he went into the kitchen and he pulled the kettle's cord. And the kettle with all the hot water fell on him.
Mm-hmm.
Whose fault is that?